All right, welcome back to the SilmFilm script discussion, season 3, episode 2, part 5, 4, 5. I think 5. Yeah, 5. Yeah, sure, 5. Sounds like a great number. Anyway, we obliterated Act 2. I feel like Act 2 just fell right together.
We're fell apart
by accident. Act 3, we have Beleg returning to Thingol. We have Luthien and Dairon. We definitely need to visit the frame again. And I think that what we need to be doing in this part is showing that there's some danger of them coming across a Dunedain settlement.
Yes, because Elladan is obviously super excited to go hunt orcs under any circumstances, but if Elrohir is like, wait, no, we should go get out of here because of the kid, Elladan's like, but this could be a scouting party, this could be a raid, and there's settlements nearby. Like, he has to say, like, we have to keep doing this because it might save people.
Yeah, well, I think that the way that he talked Elrohir into this in the first place was, let's just see what's going on. We don't have to actually do anything.
Right. So first, let's just go check it out.
Right. Like, we're both excellent scouts. Like, we'll know. We're not going to accidentally run into orcs. Come on.
They clearly just found Estelle in the middle of a storm.
Right.
Which is not easy to do.
Right.
So they're expert trackers. Definitely.
Right. Yeah. So we're back with the E-boys.
Okay, so if Elrohir agreed in the first place, why does he want to turn back now?
It's not that he once they determine that it's a scouting party and that it is imminent that it's going to run into a Dunedain settlement, there's no choice at this point. They have to do something. They have to act.
Okay, so that's what they're discovering now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now they discover it's a scouting party.
Yes.
So it's a small, because it was originally just a small group of orcs. So they're like, well, we'll see what it is. But if it's just a scouting party, then it means there will soon be a larger group of orcs. Therefore, that's what they have to do. Something. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That all makes sense. So just trying to make sure it went in order.
I got you.
Okay. So they're agreed that they have to do something. Does Elrohir try to tell Estelle, like, you wait here, we'll come back for you? Does he even try that? Or is it obvious that Estelle's going to go with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Elrohir might say, okay, you wait here, and we'll be back, by nightfall or something like that. And Estelle's like, I'll just follow you.
Yeah, like, I'm not waiting here. Yeah.
Yeah. At which point, Elladan's like,
Right. Guess he's coming with.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay. And they are the elves who were sword training young Estelle. So they know what his skill level is in non-combat circumstances. The difference being, of course, he's never been in a fight where anyone's life was in danger.
Right. But they can be relatively confident that he can defend himself from one or two orcs, whoever they don't happen to be currently massacring at the moment.
Right. So unless there's a stray accident, they're pretty certain that this is not really like, the two of them would not consider this a threat to themselves at all.
Right. Yes.
So the only danger in their mind. I mean, they're two elves against a handful of orcs. I mean, yeah. But yeah, the danger to them is that what if something happens to Estelle?
Right.
Okay. So they've seen the orcs at this point, then? No,
I don't think they should see them until the fourth act.
Right.
Because Beleg hasn't seen them yet.
Right. I was going to say. I'm trying to make sure we don't reveal the orcs in the frame too soon.
Right. I do
Speaking of revealing orcs, is it time for us to go back to Angbin and take a look at the orcs?
I was actually thinking, okay, so
Mhm.
We can go back to Angband.
Mhm. So now can we have our "was it always evil in the beginning" conversation? Or do we need that at all?
I think that we need to have that prior to the discovery of where the like have them have that conversation like after the Luthien and Dairon scene. Like we get to them having that conversation.
Okay, so they're walking along talking about this philosophical thing, and then action ensues. Okay.
Right. Well, not necessarily action, but they realize that the path has turned in a bad direction, and they make their decision as to what they're going to do about it.
Right. So decision making happens is really what I meant, not action. Okay, that sounds good. And if they were being philosophical about orcs, time to go meet the orcs.
Yes. So Sauron is marching out of Angband.
Yeah, we need to focus on the orcs who are headed south.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
So yeah, it needs to be Sauron. Because I was going to say the obvious choice would be to show Gothmog here, since we're going to do a lot of Sauron later, but it's okay. Gothmog doesn't really have any character development. He's just Morgoth's right-hand man. So he just is always around being that. He doesn't need to do anything particular.
Yeah. We have plenty of time to make people really hate Gothmog. Like, I feel like when he actually gets killed, like, people are going to be cheering.
That's the idea. I mean, that's the intended.
Not the least of which being Sauron.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting part of that rivalry. But okay, so we will show Sauron leaving. Obviously, Bulldog is there, but we're not introducing him as a character yet. So he's
marshalling. He's sergeanting.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Sauron could be having a conversation with Thurngwethel.
Okay.
She could say something to the effect of, she could mention that there have been deserters, because I think that was the thing they were looking for, was that this random batch of orcs that
got out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are already in Beleriand. Because Angband's pretty far north. So if we show them marching out of the gates of Angband, they can't be near Thingol by the end of the episode. Like, that just doesn't. So having said that, there's already been Gothmog's group could have had deserters. So Thurngwethel could be reporting into Sauron, hey, when Gothmog took his batch of orcs out, some of them ran away, so you better keep an eye on yours. Like, these are not reliable.
Yeah.
Soldiers. Establishing that there are deserters, and that shocker, the military commanders in Angband don't trust their troops. Yeah, I know. Who'd have thought? But I think that conversation would kind of make sense of a few things.
Yeah.
Including the timeline, which...
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And it keeps Thurngwethel in the position of reporting in information about her rival, his rival.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she'd be up to.
All right. We are now in Act 4.
Mm-hmm. Look at us go.
Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that Beleg follows his group of orcs from a distance for a while. He doesn't just walk up to them.
Okay, he's cautious.
Yeah, because he wouldn't, right?
Yeah, he doesn't know who they are, and they're strangers, and they're not supposed to be any strangers, and he's specifically on a mission to find whatever weird, disturbing things are out there. Like, he's already cautious.
Okay. All right. Beleg comes upon the orcs. He's following them for a while.
Is there anybody with Beleg he can talk to?
Yeah, but we're like
they're
red shirts.
Red shirts. Okay,
yeah.
But there has to be the conversation of, hey, are those elves? Like that needs to, like with major question marks, but still, like, what are those things? They kind of look like elves, but I've never seen elves like that. You know, because they're far away, so it's like they're moving funny. I don't get it.
Right, and they're clearly talking with each other.
Yeah, like these are people, but they don't look like elves, and I'm confused. Like that conversation needs to happen.
Right. I'm trying to figure out a way to do this without it being too close.
What being too close?
The Beleg running into orcs and the E-boys running into orcs.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like the tag of our episode will be the frame.
Some people kill some orcs.
Yeah. Well, but Beleg's not going to kill them, is he?
He's probably going to kill a few if he wants to survive.
Well, I'm just saying, do they run away from each other? Do they attack it? Like, it could be a pretty confusing meeting on Beleg's side. It doesn't have to be a bloodbath.
Right. Well, there had been desire. The reason that they wanted to give him red shirts was not to give him somebody to talk to.
I know, so they give him someone to kill. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I know. But I'm not sure. I mean, first meetings can turn violent quickly. I'm not saying otherwise, especially when one of the parties is a bunch of orcs.
Yes.
It's not like that's unrealistic, but on one level, they've got to be scared of each other and really leery of going anywhere near each other. Like,
yeah.
And trying to talk to each other and not understanding each other's language. Like, all that has to happen. Like, all that first contact stuff has to happen here. Whereas obviously in the frame, it does not.
Well, all that has to happen, though, is that some kind of critical misstep has to happen.
That results in violence.
Right. Somebody does something that gets interpreted as an aggressive action.
Right, and someone retaliates. Yeah.
Right.
So, but what I'm saying is that this scene will have more reminiscent of the kinslaying, where elves who didn't really want to kill each other ended up killing each other, than of Elladan and Elrohir cleaning up some orcs who they walked up to intending to kill. Like, there was no hesitation or weird stuff in the frame because orcs are well-established enemies, and orcs try to kill elves on sight. Like, that's done. But this is like, for these two groups, Beleg's group and this orc group, this is the first time they've seen elves or orcs. So, there should just be, like, this is why elves and orcs always kill each other, is because of what happens here, kind of.
Right.
But not really, because it's not a like a vendetta. It's that orcs are programmed to kill elves on sight.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is that the problem is also that how do we have a fight between elves and orcs and then go directly to a fight between elves and orcs?
I know.
Like, one has to start we have to move from one to the other.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can have the Beleriand one start first, but do the first contact thing where they're like cautiously approaching each other and afraid, but like no one has struck yet.
Right. And have the critical misstep happen.
Right. Have the misstep happen where you can see that it's about to turn into a fight. Go to Elladan and Elrohir's fight, then return to
Right.
Beleg and his dying elf
Beleg
companions.
barely managing to escape with his life. Yeah.
Yeah. Although Beleg is a very strong warrior, and
Yes.
he's been around since Queven, and so.
But
And
he's also critically under-equipped.
yes, he doesn't have weapons necessarily that are comparable to what the orcs have. I don't know what the orcs have, but I imagine short swords.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
Yeah.
So, but does Beleg not have his bow?
He does, but here's the thing. Like,
yeah, I know you can't use a bow when someone's running into you.
Yeah, I mean you can, but the thing is, and not to mention that if he's using flint or obsidian tipped arrows, they're not gonna he has to be exact with he's never encountered anybody in armor before.
Right, but again, it's.
I get that it's Beleg. I get that it's Beleg.
I'm just saying we just have to be careful not to make him too pathetic in this scene.
No, I agree. Well,
but you're right. If you've never seen armor before, you're going to shoot at it and then realize, oh, my arrows aren't working. There's a learning curve. I get that.
Right. Okay. So there's the critical misstep. E-boys fight orcs. Which is they just demolish them.
Right. Which is an interesting way to introduce your brand new villain.
What's that?
We've created a race of evil beings that are going to fight with our main characters for the next few seasons. Yes. Oh, look, they're really easy to kill. We invented stormtroopers.
No. Yeah, well, the way that you fix that is have Estelle clearly have trouble with fighting one.
Right, exactly. Estelle's not an amazing fighter. It's
right.
Elladan and Elrohir are just awesome.
Yes. Beleg. Okay, here's the thing. They're also probably outnumbered. It's probably Beleg and two guys against 20.
Okay,
isn't the thing.
that would be better for the non-runaway response on the orc side, because orcs aren't really super brave, and that's why I was thinking if they were somewhat even parties and orcs saw these elves come out of the woods, the orcs might take off. Yeah. But if it's 20 orcs and they see a couple elves, they might be like, oh, we can take them, and then they just respond aggressively, which makes more sense.
Yeah. And also the orcs don't necessarily have a good reason to be the cowards that they are by the time we get them. By the time we get to the orcs in Lord of the Rings, they have every reason to be terrified of people because
they get killed by everything.
They get mowed down in hundreds and thousands.
Yes.
Okay. Beleg should have his bow broken.
I mean, yes, that works.
So he can ask for a stronger bow.
Yes, yes. I mean, he can get upgraded.
Yes.
After this. Okay, so he does not currently have Beltranding. He just has a bow.
Right. Yes.
Which makes sense. I assumed his super amazing bow was going to come after some time here, but
yeah. Beleg fights off the orcs. I don't mind the idea of him getting a facial scar as a result.
Oh, does somebody want that to happen?
So, yeah, it was brought up in the in the podcast, which I'm fine with. That's fine. There's no reason not to.
Well, there's the whole question of whether or not elves scar, but if we give him one, then I guess they do.
Our orcs elves scar, and they keep their scars forever.
Well, that's the thing, is that since elves are so long-lived, would scars fade in time so that they would go away?
Yeah.
Which Beleg would be our test subject. He might have a scar on his face now, but several seasons later, do they keep remembering to put the scar back on his face? Maybe not. Maybe it goes away.
Okay. Beleg fights off the orcs. His bow is broken. His dudes are dead. Hang in there. Come there.
So Beleg runs away because he wants to report this back to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any orcs left alive when he leaves?
Well, I mean, I think that when the tide starts turning, like, I think the way he fights them off is he grabs one of their swords.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right.
Because if he was able to shoot even one from a distance, then there's some, there would be the opportunity for that.
Right. And once he has the thing in his hand, he's able to kill off a bunch of them. And once they're down to like half their numbers, they can be like,
they take off. Okay, so the progression here is that the orcs attack first and are more aggressive and more deadly. The elves figure out enough to retaliate a little bit, and once they start actually effectively retaliating, even though they might have some dead elves, then the rest of the orcs run away.
Yeah.
And so Beleg's left standing there with a couple dead elves, a handful of dead orcs, and like the fire that was in the.
Yeah.
Because like they'd set a tree on fire random. Like this scene was going to be lit by random fire.
Yes.
Because the orcs had set random things on fire before.
No reason for it. Fire. Yes. Yes. I like it.
Well, it was the destruction of the orcs and being demonstrated.
Do we get another scene before we come back to the boys? Because they can be our tag and we're fine there.
Yeah, I don't think we need another scene. Meaning, I don't think we don't need Beleg to actually make it back to Thingol in this episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we're going to assume he's going to report what he just saw, so like there's nothing to say. That's
although it would be fun to have his last line in the episode be I want a stronger bow, like.
Yeah, but if we wanted him to say that, he could pick up the pieces of his bow and be like, I guess I need a better one of these. Like,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, we could still do it there on the spot.
Yeah.
But he should be pretty grief stricken that there's dead elves too. Like he's not a battle hardened warrior really. Like he's old, but he's not immune to this.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And quite honestly, like if these fight scenes are good, like there's only 3 scenes here, but I feel like that's okay. Because Beleg tracking, following the orcs, Beleg finding the orcs and following them is actually a different scene from the first contact.
It is, and the first contact doesn't have to go fast.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea of first contact is that you want to show both sides being cautious. Yeah. So there should be some stopping and waiting and looking at each other and trying to figure out what's going on. And we should show the language barrier. Like that needs to happen. So.
All right. So the tag is the aftermath with the E-boys.
Yep. So what is the result of Estelle's first fight, essentially? And how does it tie into the theme of the episode? What was the theme of the episode again? Loss of innocence. Oh, look, it ties in. How lucky of us.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to have blood on him, blood on his sword.
So do Elladan and Elrohir respond practically, like, oh, go clean off your sword? Or do they respond in some kind of, like, well, this is why you shouldn't go wandering off on your own, and this is why you're supposed to take orders from people, and like, is there going to be some kind of, see, we were right, we should all go back to Rivendell now?
No, because we have to not have that happen.
Right. Well, yeah. So I just that's not what they're going to do. So
right. So what we can do is, first thing, I would really like to give one of them Aslan's line about the wiping the blood off of your sword thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be neat. Not necessarily that exact line, but like that bit.
The idea where you've been in a battle, go clean your sword now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that he's shaken, but he's very quiet about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of give him a little bit of space to process it.
Right, which is why go clean your sword is a good response instead of trying to talk about what we're going to do next. Okay.
Yeah.
So do we see him actually go to a stream and wash his sword off or something, or wipe it with a cloth, or I don't know what he's going to do. He's out in the wild. I don't know what sword cleaning kit he brought with him.
Yeah. Well, probably nothing, because he probably had no idea. It probably never even occurred to him that he was actually going to have to use that.
That's my point. So
yeah.
I'm thinking he's not prepared for this.
Yeah. Well,
so just wipe it off the grass.
He's probably got plenty of blood on him.
So going to a stream to clean up a little bit would be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And seeing the orc blood in the river and all that stuff.
Yeah. So okay. So there's an anime version of the Seven Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Kurosawa film, but yeah. So the anime is called Samurai 7, which is totally the same thing, but
that's completely different.
But completely different. Well, it is kind of vaguely futuristic. Like there's giant robots in it because it's an anime.
Okay. Well, there's also the Magnificent Seven and
which is the Western version, and then there's the remake of the Magnificent Seven, So
and then there's Ironclad, and then
the point is, it was a good film and Kurosawa did it. But anyway, in the anime version, they obviously have a lot of episodes to play with, so they can take time on certain things. And the young samurai who's never fought before, Kachiro, obviously is in his first battle at some point, and he kills somebody, and the older samurai tells him to go clean his sword, and they get out the sword, and they have a discussion, and there's like all kinds of symbolism that probably means something if you know anything about Japanese culture, which I don't. So, but like they make a big deal of the aftermath of like, well, when you take a life, but the difference being he killed a human in his fight. Like his opponent was a human being. Obviously, Estelle has killed an orc who no one has any of that kind of reaction to killing.
Right.
So that probably should kind of show up by its absence. Like no one's trying to talk him through the significance of taking a life or anything like that. It's like, yep, good kid. You're supposed to know these things down.
Yep. No, I think that's good. I mean, because there is some tragedy there, and it's very clear that while there is some tragedy there, the characters in the Lord of the Rings are not aware of it.
Right.
Like it's not, and that just makes it worse. Like it's even more horrible for that.
Yeah, the fact that by the time you get to the Third Age, the connection between elves and orcs is so completely severed that there's never been any chance or hope of repairing that.
Right.
And we're seeing the first meeting at the same time where there wasn't much hope either, but for that instant before the fight breaks out, like you see them at least trying to figure out, who are you?
Yeah.
And that is the end of elves and orcs trying to understand one another. Like that was it. That was the only chance they got, and it didn't go very well.
Yes. Okay. Wow. There's like a whole thing here. There's a whole episode of television right there.
I told you we would do it. Of course, we did it by cutting out some of the stuff they asked for and putting in stuff we wanted, but
I'm still not happy about it. It still doesn't. I still don't think it works. But
it's a rough draft. It's a first attempt.
No, we're just gonna have to tell them. Look, I mean, and that's another thing. Like I don't think we should put too much more into this.
Well, I think we should post your rundown on the message board. Ask for comments and feedback.
This is not good enough for that. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah,
Okay. Well,
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
It's my job to clean it up.
No. No. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that I'll post a
Oh,
link.
right. I know you've been using shorthand and stuff. I need to like fill things out.
Well, you don't need to. Somebody does.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just post it in the board there. So, all right. Let me. But I think we can safely close this one out for now.
Good. Yeah. Again, I'm sure we're gonna have to come back and revisit this one, but
yeah, that's kind of my thinking too. Like,
but this is the first attempt.
Spending
at least
another 3 hours working this out.
Yeah, because we made some decisions that might get vetoed, so we might as well find out if they get vetoed first before we go back and redo it.
Yes. All right. I am posting the link for the document. There we go. All right. Well, that was record time, but I think that's okay under the circumstances. So anyway, if you're watching this live, which I think there is actually a person watching us live now.
Hello.
Welcome and goodbye. If you're watching this on YouTube in the future, definitely like and share the videos. If you like and want to share them. If you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe. Check out the links below. There's going to be all kinds of interesting information there about Signum University, Mythgard Institute /Academy, the SilmFilm Project, people who work with the SilmFilm Project, people who... Never mind. Anyway, so check it out and have a great day.